but before it changes, I'm going to show you something straight away. Look at this. We have a beautiful bumblebee inside one of the autumn crocus flowers. It's all dusted in pollen. It's a big one. And there it goes to another one. You can even hear the sound. Let's just follow this bumblebee for a little bit. I've gained such an appreciation for bumbles. They do a great job pollinating things. You know, when the varroa mite arrived in New Zealand, it made such a difference to know that there are other pollinators. So we're just going to follow this. Cleve, Linda, Heather, and Elsa, it's lovely to see you. We're just following a bumblebee in the garden because it's so slow that we can. It's a really big one of those ones that should not be able to fly. And it's just doing its work, gathering pollen from the autumn crocus. Chasing the camels away, doing a great job. Thank you, Linda. Oh, look at that. It's just burrowing right in there. I don't quite know what they gather, but there it is, hard at work. Being a bumblebee and inspiring us. Just be in the moment. Look at this. I argued with myself about whether to be live outside today because it's a bit breezy, but I thought soon enough I'll have the opportunity not be there because apparently there's a weather system coming. And you can see this bumblebee is just going to keep going. But that's what I wanted to show you. And, oh look, there's another big one here. Today is the day for bumblebees and autumn crocus. April, good morning. Let's have a look at this one. Apparently they're all females. I didn't know that. Now, all the bumblebees you see around the place are females. And the males never come out from underground. So there you go, little nature lesson. And let's enjoy the Japanese anemone, because here they are in abundance. Yeah, well, enjoy my autumn, April, because when you get flowers, it's going to be something else here. So apparently we've got a weather system coming across on the weekend. That's our Easter weekend coming up, and well, it's going to be interesting. And I have been putting my intention in for it to be a bit moderated so that it's not as violent as it's supposed to be. Anyway, here we are in the garden, and I think I've shown you the very best thing that's happening today. Actually, I tell a fib. There is one more thing I need to show you, because it's lovely. You never know when a rose bush is going to do this. Look at this. It's come up with a really decent second flush of flowers. Get up close. Little sweetheart rose. It's such a gorgeous thing. So here it is. What happens if you just leave them alone and don't prune them? Which I have to do here because roses don't really thrive in Newlands. But that one does. So, now today, carrying on from where we left off yesterday, because we were talking about being in the box and not being able to see outside the box. You know, you want to create a different life. And you think, well, I don't even know what it looks like. I can't imagine myself different. I've been this way for so long. It's really hard to change, you know, all of that stuff. And if you really can't imagine what life is like if it's different, then it becomes a sort of, you know, you go around the circle. So I thought, what do you do? And I know people who struggle with this for a long time, and sometimes there are really physical, practical reasons why it's difficult to see what's ahead of you. But for a lot of us, it's mostly that we don't actually know how it feels. And that, believe it or not, when you want to set a goal, when you want to create a new future, and you're thinking, oh, you know, I'm supposed to want X, Y, Z, I'm supposed to want my career to go in this direction. Everybody is saying that that's what will make me happy. I'm supposed to want to pay off my mortgage. I'm supposed to want to have kids, you know, all the usual things. And you look at them and it's like, no, none of that fires me up. And you're looking for something that fires you up, but you're looking within the box of everything that you're used to seeing, and that everybody around you in society and the media and everything else is saying, this is going to make you happy. And in your heart, you know it doesn't. You just know that, and you think, well, what the hell is it? Sapphire, morning beautiful. So I wanted to talk about that. Oh, Victor, it's great to see you, beautiful man. It's lovely to see you. So, yeah, what do you do when you're stuck inside the box and everything you know, which remember is what has got you to this point, it's only about the past, all your memories, all your neural architecture, all your biochemical conditioning, it's all about the past. So, if you're wanting to create a future that is not some kind of repetition of your past, how do you do that? Timothy, lovely to see you. So that's what I want to talk about. And for me, because I faced this myself at the end of 2016, I drew a line in the sand from something that was really very painful. It was a long, protracted failure, brought about really by the fact that I didn't have a good internal compass. I didn't have good guidance. I didn't have good mentorship, although, the person that had been mentoring me was supposed to know what they were talking about. They didn't know any bloody thing. And I didn't know that they didn't know. There's a whole lot of stuff I just wasn't connected to then. And at the end of 2016, I drew a line in the sand. I said a huge big no. I paid some money that I didn't want to pay to get out of something that I had bought into because I was scared and desperate and all that stuff. And many of you will relate to this one way or another. Think, I've got to do something. This is a big stretch, but, someone's saying it's going to work. No, and I knew it, but I was too scared, right? Anyway. So I drew a line in the sand, I paid my money, I got out, and I just started saying no to everything that didn't fit me. Everything that didn't feel right. It was like, screw it, I don't care what's supposed to be right for me. No. I said a lot of no. And I said no for nearly 6 months. And even back then, because saying no is really important. You cannot say yes until your no is strong. Joyous, lovely to see you again. Woohoo! No strangers here. So I said a lot of no. And what I didn't know then, which I know now, is that if you are wanting, desiring, intending to create a new future that's outside of the box of everything that you've known up till now, then the thing to do is to forget, let go of, drop like a hot rock, any idea that you might have of how that future's going to look, or feel, or taste, or smell, or look, or taste, or smell, or hear, or anything, because you don't know. All you know is what's got you up to here. The only thing that you can know, and really will know, is how you want to feel in your future. Because the reason why you desire a new future is because you don't like how you feel now. Or it's okay, but you desire to expand. You desire to feel more. You desire more excitement or more delight or more satisfaction or, whatever it is. This is human, by the way. It's not bad to desire more than what you have. How you do something about that, whether you care for yourself and others, the ethics of it, the internal modus operandi, that's a different story. But it goes without saying that if you're going to be kind to yourself, you're actually going to be kind to others. So, enough said. That's not the topic today. So the only thing you really know is actually how you want to feel. And that doesn't seem like very much. It doesn't seem like very substantial. But let's unpack this a little bit while I check my clock. Okay. You see, if you stay within what you know and the three-dimensional things that you can look at and say, I want to be this, I want to be that, even though it doesn't quite resonate with me and it sort of feels hollow and it doesn't quite work, it really doesn't resonate with you. It doesn't feel solid. It doesn't go, yes, inside, right? So you know when it's a yes and you know when it's a no. Now the exception to that, I've got to go sideways again, the exception to that is if you are feeling stressed and upset, and basically like you got to fight, you got to flee, or you got to freeze, that feeling that you get inside you is probably going to give you the bad information because you're not in a place where you can tune into your wisdom. And that was my problem in 2014 through 2016. I mean, my life really before then. Stuck in survival mode and didn't know it. Internal guidance system doesn't work well when you're stressed because you are just an amped up animal that wants to run or fight or flee. And so you're not thinking clearly and you're not feeling clearly either. So you've got to get calm and then you will have an awareness, slow down, sit on the toilet, shut the door, shut the world out for 5 minutes and breathe through your heart. That will help. And And then you will know if it makes you feel bad or uncomfortable, and you're right, Linda, because it really is wrong for you, or because it's just unfamiliar and unknown and you're scared. And there's an important distinction to make there, because we can actually say no to things that are really good for us because they're unfamiliar and unknown, and we're scared of them. Amanda, Vicky, lovely to see you, beautiful beings. So, that's an important thing to know, that sometimes your feelings can send you off. They're not a good compass if you're in survival mode. So to get a good compass, you need to get out of survival mode. And we've talked about that a lot in the last 2 or 3 weeks. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and check some of the other lives. Because if I talk about that now, we won't get to what I want to talk about. So, assuming for the moment that you are centered enough to get some kind of reasonable information from your internal guidance system, how you want to feel is the only compass you need. I'm going to have to tell you my story now. So, all I knew really was that really I wanted to be able to do at my house, which meant I'd feel satisfied and pleased and not concerned about this bit that's breaking or has been ugly for 20 years or whatever. And I wanted to just feel the satisfaction of being able to fix things when they needed to be fixed. Hi, Misty! I wanted to be able to feel satisfied. I wanted to feel empowered to just do things. And note for me that financial abundance, which is, for me has really been the mountain. Until recently it's changed. Not that I'm suddenly a millionaire, but I'm much more of a millionaire inside than I used to be. I wanted that freedom. So now we're not talking about money. We're talking about freedom. We're talking about being able to do what I want to do. And we're talking about being able to give to people that I care about, to help, That's really what I wanted to feel. Now, the problem is that we are programmed in this three-dimensional reality to think that we can't have those feelings unless we have the money to give to the people that we care about, unless we have the money to fix the house because it's concerning us, unless we have the relationship to then feel loved, or unless we have the purposeful work to then feel satisfied with life. And that is the lie. That is the lie. That you have to have the thing outside you to be able to feel something inside you. Buy this perfume. Suddenly every man on the planet will chase after you and want to be your toy boy. Buy this car and suddenly every woman will think you're sexy and powerful. There's silly examples, but we all know what I'm talking about. We've been programmed to think that we need something outside of us to feel something inside of us. And what I am doing and practicing and learning for real, it's true, is that it's actually the other way around. So, getting back to getting outside of your box. The only thing you need to know is how you want to feel. Because if you practice being that, and oh my goodness, I was doing that this morning. Sooner or later, and you got to be willing to be your future in advance of it arriving, and to not be looking for it to arrive for however long it takes, independent of time. I got to be willing to be abundant, whether I have no money in my bank account or $100,000 in my bank account. It's got to be absolutely independent, and that, you believe me, that's a big ask for me, but I'm practicing it. The thing is, if I, as the quantum observer, as the divine observer, can put myself into the state of being, of havingness of what I desire, of beingness of what I desire, and I can observe it into matter, and I'm talking about being in the field now. Sooner or later, because I'm doing that with my energy, that energy, which is me, is going to find me. And I'm not going to have to do a damn thing to bring it to me. It just arrives. And there's so many stories, which I'm not going to tell. They're things I've read. They're not things I have actually lived. I have lived smaller synchronicities of, making a shift in myself, and then kapow, something happens that matches the fact that I made a shift and I became more abundant, and then something manifested. They're not such graphic stories, but there's many of them. The point being that if you know how you want to feel when you're outside of your box, and you focus on that feeling and you get practiced at generating that feeling, and believe me, it can take some practice. right? I've been talking to you about how I've been practicing for months because it was so hard, allowing myself to feel joy. You know, another increment today, quite powerful. My body really responded very differently because I made a deeper choice in myself to feel joy, to let the old grey, depressed Maddie die. Really what it boils down to. I felt that today. It's like my old me died and somebody new's here. Happens every day, but some days it's more obvious than others. So if you know the feeling of your future, and for me the feeling of my future is undoubtedly joy, regardless of anything, to just be in joy and gratitude. Isn't that an abundant state? Don't you think stuff's going to flow to me that way? If I'm like that, it's got to. There is no argument. It's law. It's how it works. So if that's who I'm choosing to be, sooner or later I'm going to figure out what that life looks like, because I'm going to be so busy feeling that joy, feeling that abundance, that I'm going to start doing and being that as I walk around in my ordinary life. And instead of sitting down to my computer and thinking, oh gee, how much money is there not in my bank account, and how much it scares me that how big's that bill going to be and can I pay it, and these are all things that have gone through my mind for many years, to think, oh, it's okay. If the money isn't there now, it'll be there in time. And I'm in joy and appreciation and gratitude for that. I'm not saying I always hold this space, but I'm saying I'm starting to really know what it means in my real life. And you're probably still saying, well, what does that mean? And what are you going to do to create that abundance, for example? All right, so you've got to practice feeling peace, Linda. And, you're learning how to go into the field so you can practice there. You become that state of being, it's going to find you. That's all I can say. It's in short, but yeah. So, what am I going to do when I started? To finish the 6-month void story, in May 2017, I met my mentor, who I worked with for about a year and a half, and she really did help me start to connect in all kinds of ways with what I wanted to do, and I knew I wanted to have a massive impact in the world. Hi, Colette! But I didn't know how. I just knew at that time. I said I want to be the Mother Teresa of the coaching world. In other words, I want to coach the world, and I want to make a difference. Well, hello, here I am. Actually, well, I'm not coaching millions yet. That is my intention, but I'm making a difference. I know that because you keep telling me. And beyond that, and I'm not telling you specifics because it isn't time for me to let this out into public awareness yet, because it's still too fresh in me. I know how I'm going to impact millions. I absolutely know how. It's like the whole of my life makes sense now. I know what it's for. I know. I did not know that 2 years ago. I had no clue of the how. And how long have I known that? Oh, a few months. Probably 6 months, actually. I really thought I was going to get started on creating some of that how at the beginning of this year, but no, the time did not open up, and I just kept trusting, and now we have this massive global shift that is taking place, and I understand why, because it wouldn't have been time. And all of this time I have been developing more trust in the whole process of my life, and that's really good. That gives you peace too. When you know that no matter what crazy shit seems to be going on, and you still react right, you still get scared, you still have an oh my god moment, but you don't stay there, and you see that over and over and over and over and over again, it works out. And it works out more wonderfully than you can imagine. So it all starts with deciding, recognizing, exploring, playing with who you want to be and how that feels. The rest of it will follow. The rest of it will follow. You've got to do the work to become that person. And here's my plug. You know that I rave about the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, because that is the only tools that I have found that actually help me do this. Nothing else works so well. I doubt I'll ever find anything that works so well, because he's taken science, which he says is a contemporary language of mysticism, and he's really right, and unpacked and demystified mystical experiences and spontaneous healing, and said, This is how you do it. Oh, and by the way, that includes manifesting stuff out of thin air. Because people, his students do that. This is how you do it. The information's there. Ignorance is no excuse now. It's there. And for me, it absolutely works. And I see that it works for many others. So, peace about money, peace about your life, peace about the future. Become the peace, and then everything else is going to flow to you. Probably not the way you expect, but you're going to be taken care of. Because there is an intelligent love that is loving us into life. And I can't tell you how much it loves you. And loves everything, the chaos, the whole 9 yards, because it's loving all of it into life. It's experiencing itself through us and everything here. And there is so much love for that, I can't communicate it. I only tell you that I've experienced it. All right, I know I'm out of time. So much love, beautiful being. Thank you for joining me. If you're on 3.5 years, 3.5 hours from now, will be back to bring you a rather action-packed update from Sangmaru Gomez in the Gambia. It's getting really real there, and he is standing up as a leader in his community and doing some really amazing stuff, and the community is asking for support. So if you can be on, be lovely to see you then. Big love, I'll see you then or tomorrow. Bye-bye.